Hi, and thanks so much for joining me. Today we're talking about these concealers by Charlotte Tilbury. They are the Magic Away concealers. Yes. They have lots of claims, which I just actually read about. I've been using these for about, gosh, how long? A couple weeks now, so I have some pretty good thoughts around them. It says for a magic skin day every day, it's got Persian silk tree bark extract that can contribute to the illusion of a lifted upper eyelid, as well as reducing the appearance of crow's feet, wrinkles, and fading dark circles. Okay, there are lots of long words here. Palmitoyl glycine is also known as the bliss molecule. It helps reduce the appearance of lines and wrinkles. I like that. Extract of wild indigo is a native Indian plant used in Ayurvedic tradition that helps to enhance the skin's luminosity. The new Magic Precision Sponge is designed to roll over imperfections and hug the under eye contour for the most flawless application of your life. Okay, what else? Ideal if you want full coverage liquid concealer to cover dark circles, blemishes, and imperfections. So I got number 7 and number 8. Number 7 for the under eye area and number 8 for the darker areas. And I'm going to show you how they work. I have them on right now. Of course, I have some powder on top, and I think that's it. I do have the Pillow Talk collection on for the rest of the colors on my face, and I'm just going to show you the try-on and give you some of my final thoughts after I use this for a couple weeks to help you make a decision if you want to try this or not. So if you want to see the try-on, please keep watching. So I thought I'd just show you what my skin looks like right now. So it's been probably, I'm going to say like 6 weeks using the Peter Thomas Roth Spot brightening thing. So I can see a difference. I think there's a difference on camera as well. Again, the spots are here, and then actually they're kind of getting darker on my nose, and I haven't been applying it as much there, so maybe that's why. But I wanted to show you bare skin so you could see actually what's being concealed, and then I'm gonna go in with the Guerlain primer. I just have a little bit left here. Usually I'll put on some of the Even Up SPF 50 by Color Science, but I decided not to do that because I think it actually adds another layer of blurring. So I don't know if you can see the power of the concealer as much with that. So just know on the regular, I do use the Even Up SPF 50. I'm going in next with the Becca Backlight Priming Filter, and I'm just adding it to the center of my face, because it really just allows the concealer and foundation to stick better. So actually the camera brings out a lot of contrast in my skin, so the fact that it doesn't look so bad that's pretty good. Then I'm going in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in 7.5. One of the best color matches ever for me. Got a light layer of foundation on next, and this is what I'm going to do for the eyes. What I noticed with the concealer is that I did get some pretty substantial creasing under the eyes, so I decided to use a primer, and I've got the Becca, it's called the Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer, this blue one. It has a little bit of brown in there, but I just take a little bit of that, and I pat it under my eyes. I don't typically use this though, because I don't get that much of a result in terms of the cooling and anti-fatigue piece of it, but with this concealer in particular, it helps it to not get so creasy. I haven't found a way to have it not crease at all yet though, but I am playing around with it, and this has been working the best so far. I'm taking number 7, which goes under the eyes for me, and just clicking. Again, this applicator is very messy, but I do see the point in the fact that it gets that product really into the skin, so it doesn't have any, so it doesn't sit on top of the skin as much as some concealers can. It really pushes it in. So I'll do one eye first. So you can see it brightens, cancels out that redness. It's a great color match. And I just like to pat the excess in with my finger. One thing I noticed with this concealer is to let it sit a little bit before I set it. If I set it right away, then it seems to crease more. So I'm gonna do the other eye. I try to focus it on this area right here because I do get some creasing in this area, although it is also red. So I try and put a little bit up there. But you can see where I concentrate it, and then I've got to get this little corner right here on both sides. So you can see it didn't take that much to do its job, which is what I like about this. It's nice thin consistency, yet the coverage is pretty substantial. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with number 8 in these areas right here. Right away you can see that it does a nice job of canceling out that darkness. I have a few dark spots up here. And it didn't take very long at all. This sponge applicator also eliminates another step for me, because usually I will go in with a beauty blender and again push that concealer in there, but because it's already done that, that's another step I don't have to worry about. I'll go under my chin with this as well. I'll let that sit for a little bit, then I'll tap my fingers on top of the product and then I'll powder. It seems like if I let it sit and settle in a little bit and then get a little bit of that excess oil off of there, then it does tend to set better. I'm gonna go down my nose with this number 7. Okay, and at this point, everything's pretty much concealed. I mean, you saw how fast that was. And if you have seen me talk about concealing, you know, it does take a long time typically, so this has really cut down the amount of time in these dark spots particularly. Not so much the under eye, that's not as much of an issue for me, but these darker areas, yeah, that is something that has really, really helped in terms of eliminating extra steps and cutting down on that time. So what I'll do right now is I'm gonna set this and do the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, so speaking for all of those claims we talked about, some of them actually sound a little bit long-term. So in terms of the skincare benefits, I can't really speak to that. In terms of wrinkling and things like that, for the under eye areas specifically, I did get quite a bit of creasing here without primer. So again, one of the reasons I used it with the primer is because it helped minimize that creasing. Let me actually just take a look at it right now. Yeah, it does work much better with that primer underneath. Also, waiting to set it makes a big difference. If I just applicate it, if I just apply it and then powder on top, then I'll definitely get way more creasing. So waiting for about a minute or two after I apply it. So apply it, wait a minute or two, then go over it again with my finger like this, and then set it. That seems to do the trick. So it's looking pretty good right now. In terms of the spots that I use this number 8 to conceal on my face, it is like Magic Away. Is that what it's called? Is this Magic Away? Yeah, it's like Magic Away spots, something, but the word Magic Away works. It is like a really quick eraser for my darker areas. Like you saw at the beginning though, I think you can tell my darker spots are actually not as bad, so that might have something to do with how well this works. I don't have to conceal as much as before. I love the skin-like quality of it, especially for those areas. In the humidity, this does not work well though. It does fall apart, it does break up, but now that it's becoming cooler, it works really, really well. Still, the Tom Ford waterproof concealer foundation is the best in terms of getting on there and sticking all day and not breaking up with any oils on your face. But this is the next best thing, and it takes less time. So I don't have to mix anything in with this. I don't have to put layer after layer. I think I put like a couple layers on and I'm good to go. So for convenience sake, I love this one. Again, I wouldn't rely on it in a humid climate. If you're in a humid and hot climate, I think it's gonna be really great for winter though. And again, color match, I could not beat this color match. it is really hard for me to find concealer that I don't have to mix things with, and this is one of them. This and the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. It's a much thicker consistency, but that is a really good comparison. I think it was Biscuit. If not, I will put the correct color. I'm pretty sure it's Biscuit, but if that is the color for you for any kind of covering dark spots, then number 8 would be great for you as well. It has that same kind of salmony color tone to it that helps with the color correcting piece of having to cover up dark spots. And I think that's all I have to say about this. I would not recommend it highly for the eyes, although the coverage is pretty amazing. If it didn't crease, then we'd be talking about a different story. I would be definitely highly recommending it for the under eye area, just because of ease of use. The fact it's like so, I don't need a beauty blender with these, which is amazing because I use a beauty blender for almost everything just to get it into the skin. So because it has that nice or not nice sponge on it, it's really kind of icky looking and gets messy, but the application, it makes sense that it's there. So it's something that's a trade-off for sure. But if this didn't crease, I would definitely recommend it highly. But since it does crease and it takes a little bit more work, I am happier with my Clé de Peau concealer I use right now under the eye area. And I have that one in Honey, in case you were wondering about that color. But I rely on number 8 right now for those darker areas. So I hope that helped you out a little bit and helped you make a decision. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. But now I'm just reading about the claims. It says for Magic Skin Day, every day. What? Use the Even Up SPF 50. Just no. Oh, there. Just very loud. Okay. Going in next with the Becca Backlight. Going in. Wow. Going. Oh my gosh.